Hello, I'm Jasmine Sky, and today for F-Stock Lounge I'm interviewing the master photographer James Simmons, highly awarded and awesome. Thanks for having me here today.
Thanks for coming.
I'm going to get right into my favourite 5 questions. What was your career path? How did you start being interested in photography, and how did you get into doing it full-time as a career?
It was a slow burn for me. My mum was a photography teacher at one point, so I had the influence from an early age. Grew up surfing as well, so we were always fascinated with trying to photograph each other in the surf and things like that.
Yep.
But it wasn't until after I'd studied viticulture and been travelling, went around the world a couple of times, that I got back and had a pretty serious surfing accident. And it was the tipping point. I had to change directions with what it was and the ideas of a future career. So push come to shove, I was never going to be a person that could really maintain a career that I wasn't passionate about.
Yep.
A bit of a fidgeter really, just jumping from one thing to another, but photography always fascinated me throughout that period.
Mm-hmm.
And I just decided to go to university and make it official and start studying. So it was during that degree that I started looking for work within the industry and managed to come across a really cool group of people that ran a big studio, and they took me on, took the risk to take on a uni kid that knew pretty much nothing.
Yep.
And give me experience. And I spent 5 years with those guys, and it was really, really valuable. So after that, it sort of became time for me to branch out my own and do my own thing. And here I am today and just loving it. Yeah,
awesome. That's great. And what is your favourite lens / gear that you just use all the time?
I've got a few different. I'm a massive gearhead. Like, I'm not super technical, but I love new bits of kit and stuff. But probably my favourite lenses at the moment would be the 35. And the 24mm.
Okay.
Like Canon gear.
Yep.
So I shoot with a 1DX and a 5D3.
Mm-hmm.
I really love using the 35 with my 1DX. That's probably like my predominantly used sort of kit.
Yep.
When I'm running around or roaming the streets or whatever.
Sure.
But like I also love ripping out my Pentax 645Z.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes with a beautiful bit of glass. It's just the kit lens that comes with it. It's a 55mm lens. It's sharp as a tack, and the files are so big and juicy. Can't get enough of that thing.
Yep, awesome. Okay, so what's the best advice that you have been given in your career?
I think, as far as advice goes, there's so much that accumulates over times, and a lot of it comes in, at the right times when you need certain things.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things, but probably some of the most pivotal bits of experience and advice that I've been given was during my time at the old studio that I worked at, when really discovering, if you wanted to make photography a career, in particular domestic photography, so weddings and portraits, it's more about people than it is about anything else.
Absolutely.
From a business sense, so what that really melted down to is making sure that the clients that you have, you really befriend it and you give a great experience to. So making them feel amazing is almost just as important as getting amazing shots.
Yeah, definitely.
Because people will kind of take that feeling and mood into the images when they see them.
Yep.
So experience was a big thing for me, and being a people business, because you've just got to deal with so many different personalities and temperaments and things like that. So you've got to be able to really connect with people.
Yep.
On a deeper level, and that comes down to basically the way that you are. So another bit of advice that kind of made me realise that honesty is quite profound in the relationship was studying some of Jess Durox's workshops and things like that, attending a few of his workshops, and the psychology behind relationships. And he actually gives people really good tools to use on shoots to kind of promote that natural expression. And right from an early outset when I was shooting and I realised I liked shooting people, For me, it was always maintaining a real natural expression, and making people feel relaxed.
Yep.
So, those sorts of things, promoting natural expression, for me always helped get inspired while shooting, because it doesn't always have to come from you. I'm pretty terrible at meticulously placing things and styling things. I leave a lot of the detail shots up to second shooters and stuff, so I can spend more time with people.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing though.
Yeah, I just love the fleeting things that happen, and between people, the look that people give each other, or just those small little nuances that each other will have, and that for me really probably comes back from a love for photojournalism too, and being able to see things and witness things unfold in front of you and being able to anticipate. So yeah, I think the best bit of advice is that for me it's all about people.
Yep.
For what I do anyway.
Definitely. Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so maybe it sounds like the studio is a big influence on you, but what other photographers have been a big influence on you and your career?
I think early on, like when I was studying at university, I got a good background in art history, and we got to look at some fantastic photographers that have definitely moulded my view on what is a good photograph. Photojournalists for me really stood out. So the Magnum photographers, pick one. They're all amazing. Bringing it back to Australia, Trent Park, fantastic stuff. His Midnight series. He could make broad daylight look like it was night time. And Paolo Pellegrin was a great one. I remember kind of having some interactions with him when he came over and exhibited at the Photo Frio Festival, and seeing the way that he would layer his shots, having figures in foreground, background, blurred out, or movement blur, using contrasty lights, quite dark and moody sort of things, really had a strong impact on me. The way Alex Webb layers his street work, it's just fantastic, and so much precision in placement of objects in such a busy scenario. Were all really inspiring. Robert Frank as an artist, I think just fantastic, the way that he's kind of documented the American culture back in the early when was it, 60s or 70s. But his use of kind of different techniques and written words and things like that to integrate into these compositions was just marvelous. Obviously, everyone probably should come across or has discovered the decisive moment from Cartier-Bresson and the psychology behind that. That was a big influence. War photographers, Warwick Kappa. That's not a photographer.
That's awesome.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. All right, so moving on. So
Robert Kappa.
in your opinion, what makes a good picture stand out from the average?
I can probably break it down into three main things that all have like sub little things, but the graphics need to be good. So the aesthetics, and that comes down to lighting, composition, and design. So the way that it looks, the information that it has, it needs to tell us something. So it needs to allude to some sort of story or metaphor or something like that. And then the last one is the emotion or the mood. Typically in photojournalism it'd be human emotion.
Yep.
But it's translatable to other fields and genres, like in regards to mood. That you get like from a brooding landscape, for example, or something like that.
Yeah, I have to say I've never really experienced that with like landscape. Photography. I hadn't really looked at a lot of landscape photography, to be honest, before this year at the awards, and I was amazed at how some of those landscapes had amazing feeling in it, and I was kind of quite inspired by that. But I'm a people person too.
I have no idea how they find places like that in my photograph.
Yep.
It's phenomenal.
All right, that's great advice. So moving on to more advice. So photographers wanting to get into weddings and, you know, they might have never shot a wedding or they're just getting into it. What do you wish you'd been told when you were starting out?
Well, the way that I started out, I thought worked really well because I went and worked for other people.
Yep.
And got a lot of experience in that way.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it becomes a heavy influence
Yep.
as well into
How you do things.
Into a style that may not necessarily be yours.
Okay, yep.
So sometimes too much influence can almost train out your own personal taste and creativity. If you're constantly told this is the way to do something, it doesn't really leave much room for you to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I think people that are starting out, I mean, you need to get experience somehow, but you also need to, be thoughtful of what you choose to take on, because there's so much stuff that you could potentially learn from, and so many different ways of doing things, so many different styles that, if you try and do them all, or if you're doing one but it doesn't really suit your idea of it, it's never really going to be nice and fluid and come naturally, I don't think. So, what advice? Don't have to peak too early. Like if you've just picked up a camera, you don't have to start trying to make it a business, I don't think. Learn photography as an art form first.
Yep.
Before applying it to commercial options. So I would say grow with it, have fun with it, be creative with it, then see how you can implement that into domestic or commercial industries.
Mm-hmm.
Do your research, look at the things and the people that you're drawn to closely, because your taste will often dictate the way that you shoot as well. So you kind of need to refine your taste at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, right at the start, we just think getting, a face just filling the frame, that's awesome because, it's a little bit intimidating to get close to someone or something like that, but it needs to be more than that. It needs to be refined. So, refine your taste, get experience with others, and start to define the things that you like that aligns with your individuality.
Yeah. Absolutely. I wish I had done that a little bit more, because now I'm kind of muddling along going, who am I? Am I doing what I want to do? And it's kind of harder in retrospect to kind of try and change things how you've been doing it. So that's really good advice.
But you can always change things, right?
Yes, I'm doing that. I'm doing it. Okay, so on that path, so what's been one of the hardest lessons that you've had to learn in your business?
Tina, but I was pretty lucky because I worked in a business and saw how it ran efficiently to begin with. So I took a lot of those lessons into my own business and then kind of have done them my own way a little bit. Probably the hardest lesson I think for any photographer will be the business itself, because I guess we all get into it because we're slightly creative in some way, and the business side of it doesn't always align with creative people. So,
nope.
Having the confidence to be able to ask someone for money for what it's worth can be difficult, and something that takes a little bit of time and guidance with, probably. But one of my biggest lessons, probably putting in a product that was too cheap.
Yep.
Or a cheaper option that really hurt album sales.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that and probably not selling it in the right way as well was probably the biggest lesson financially. Seeing the numbers now after a year's worth of it, going, wow, it could have been a lot different. But that's a good thing about running your own business. You just change it if it's wrong.
Absolutely.
So that was probably one of the bigger ones. Can never have enough backup gear.
Yes. Well, they say you're either a photographer that's, had stuff crash or not, and if you have, then you are definitely...
I mean, I've been pretty fortunate. I've been pretty good with all my backup drives, with all the digital files and stuff. Like I'll, download to two separate drives.
Yep.
And then back it up to another one, and then upload to a cloud as well.
Yep.
So I'm a bit paranoid when it comes to that sort of stuff. But I've lost some personal work.
Yeah.
Which I've only got myself to blame. But luckily it wasn't anyone else's work. So.
But yeah.
You can never be too sure.
No, definitely. Okay. All right. So funniest and scariest wedding photographer moments.
Okay. So scary one. I had my heart stopped a little bit during one wedding where it's kind of almost my least favourite part of the wedding, where the bride and groom kind of make their entrance into the reception. I've been trying for so long to make this part look good, but they're always entering over like an exit sign, or the DJ speakers are next to it, and it's always a bit messy. So I've been playing with a few different kind of off-camera flash sort of ideas, for that entrance, and kind of freezing them, blurring the rest of it to kind of simplify it down. And I'd always go and do my testing, make sure everything works. And this one wedding not long ago, it must have, the transmitter must have bumped against my leg, and it kind of unclipped itself. Because when I went to shoot, it just didn't work. It didn't work, and I freaked out. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? It only moved a tiny bit, so it looked like it was on. And I was checking everything quickly in between the couples, and then I just had to grab my other camera and just shoot it as is. And that was pretty freaky. But luckily it's not like the major part of the day. Or
you can
get away with it a bit. But something else that was kind of a bit disconcerting. I shot a wedding once, and I think they'd either had a pretty big night the night before, but one of the bridesmaids was busy helping out the bride with a veil, I think, and she literally just fell. Boom, just fell over. Just went, oh, I feel a little bit strange. And literally just fell over flat onto her back, kind of half hit the bed and fell on the floor. I remember trying to grab her on the way down, and just like being awkward spot, trying to like grab her head before I hit the floor, and she was out. Like she literally passed out. And she came to, she vomited, and I was just like, what the hell happened? And they had a big night, just dehydrated, hadn't eaten any food. And then the champagne went to her head, boom, done.
Not good.
Nasty.
Not good. All right, so cool. So last year you took out both wedding and overall photographer of the year, state and nationally, at the AIPP Awards. That's an incredible achievement. 1 year on just about. How have these accolades affected you personally, business-wise, and where to from here?
It's been a roller coaster ride. Like amazing feeling, like the elation. I would love everyone to feel that emotion at some point in their life. Like it's just phenomenal. Words can't really describe it. I mean, I was totally lost for words that night and just swore. I think so. I kind of regret a few things I said that night. But no, from there, it's been absolute priceless PR. Like it. I mean, I probably could have dealt with it better and made it, ran with it even more. But I don't know. I don't like gloating. I'm a pretty modest sort of person. But it's something that no money could buy in regards to PR and marketing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So massive kudos to the AIPP and the tight ship that they run with that sort of thing, and the prestige that award is renowned for. So it's been phenomenal. Afterwards though, I got so busy that I just couldn't keep up with demand. Like the next day, after no sleep, I think I had 75 inquiries just sitting there, and I had to do all these interviews and answer all these questions, and I'm like, I don't know. They're like all hard questions, like, what's the most significant thing about this win for you? And I'm like, I can't even believe it happened still. So like overwhelming. But after easing into that title, being named as it, and people constantly talking about it and being embarrassed and then kind of being proud of it for moments, and then you have. I think one of the best things that I got from it was the confidence that what you're doing is okay. I think everyone's their own worst critic.
Yeah.
So you kind of the self-doubt I think plays into a lot of creatives' minds at some point, and I wasn't immune to it. So having a massive pat on the back like that was a great confidence builder. And I still have moments of weakness as well, and I keep questioning what I do. It's just an ongoing thing, really. It keeps you on your toes and trying to progress and move forward. But I found at one point when I did have a bit of confidence, I almost felt when I was shooting my concentration lacking a little bit. And I had to really snap myself out of it, because I realised that I almost didn't have the same level of care while I was shooting. And I remember halfway through the shoot, I was like, that'd be fine, that's good enough. And then I kind of went, what the hell am I saying? This is not me. I'm like, it's never good enough. What's going on? And
too confident. Almost.
I had to snap out of it and go, no, that's the other side of it. You're going to start to go downhill if that's what you think. So, so I battled with a few of those things along the way, and I had to grow the business at an exponential rate as well. And I wasn't really ready for it. I was kind of only a couple of years into my own business, and it was steadily building. I was pretty happy with the way that it was progressing, and then it just took this massive big bump. And, I just got a crash course in business.
Yep.
I was kind of just winging my way through it, really, and all of a sudden I needed help. I had to start outsourcing things. Overheads went up. Then I realised I had to take on more weddings to pay for it all. Realised the pricing structure had to change. Then I had to look at upgrading everything, basically.
So big changes.
Yeah, it was. Yep. It was good. And just over the winter period, just now, I had a little bit of a gap, a little break. I booked a few weekends off weddings, and finally got the chance to work on the business rather than being stuck in the cogs of it.
Sure.
Because I was just trying to keep my head above water and keep clients happy, and turnaround times were starting to blow out just because I'd shot 50, almost 60 weddings.
Yeah, crazy.
I was just drowning in it. So now I've rejigged a few things, refined a few processes, got some extra help, and I think the client experience will just be improved from that, really. So big learning curve.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, massively. The other thing is the confidence that it gives your clients when you're booking, if they've heard about it.
Yep.
I'm not one to just tell people straight
Let
up.
people know.
I don't even have anything hanging in here saying that, really, but I'd rather people book me for the work that they see, rather than for the awards that I've won, because then I know that whatever I do, they'll appreciate, because they want what I do, not what is on Pinterest or what someone else has done. They couldn't book them. Or for someone just thinking that I'm, for whatever reason, the best, but having a completely different
and having
taste.
That high expectation and and
exactly.
Did you find that coming into these awards, you're feeling more expectation now because of last year, or
it was a really weird scenario. At the start I had a strange sense of calm, thinking that I don't really have anything to prove anymore. Then at the same time I was like, well, that's not really fair on everyone else, because if I just sort of took the foot off the gas, if someone when someone else wins, they want to know that they've beat everyone. Just only won because these people didn't enter or something like that. So to be fair on everyone, I gave it a good crack. Put in the work that I thought showed what I was doing, and I felt that was I'm most proud of.
Yep.
And I didn't get any goals this year at state or anything like that, and that's the way the cookie crumbles,
I must admit, I was sitting in the room at the judging, and first time ever I'd put an image in, and I was like ready to vomit for the whole 3 hours waiting for it to come out. And I looked over at you at one point, and you were sort of bouncing your knee, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of nervous, but I imagine it kind of would be nerve-wracking having that expectation as well. It was kind of like an interesting moment of like, I could see you were calm, and then there was a little moment of like, I could see you were waiting, you knew there was something coming soon, and I was like, he's nervous too, like it doesn't ever go away, I guess.
No.
Yep.
You just kind of get more experience with those feelings, I think. Like, I've been entering for 6 or 7 years now, so you kind of, you know, once you've had the ups and downs, and mostly the downs, you kind of can make your peace with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And take what people say on board, and
Yeah.
And some things, at the end of the day, it's a group of people's opinions.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes, you know, they'll have really good points, and sometimes, you know, yeah, maybe their point's very valid for what they think is a good image, but your idea of a good image is a little bit different. So you kind of take some with a bit of grain of salt, but you know, sometimes they'll come out with some amazing bits of feedback where you're like, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I can change that. It's great, you know.
Yep.
So yeah, you've got to learn from it.
Yep.
And it is a big, massive game at the end of the day. And
Yes.
It's not you know, the be all and end all.
Yep.
Sort of scenario, you know.
No.
But it's good fun.
It is, yeah. No, it's a huge learning arena as well for everyone, I'm sure. I got a lot out of it. Okay, so next question. You've been doing a lot of, I believe you've been doing some TV series work, and you've also got a workshop coming up that you're a part of. Do you want to tell me a bit about those exciting things?
Yeah, well, it's really exciting actually. Camp Common Folk is going to be a cool little workshop down south in Donnelly River, like 3 nights, kind of 4 days. You know, 9 speakers. You know, no smoke and mirrors sort of stuff. It's just going to be a really honest event where, you know, egos are definitely checked at the door, and it should be quite an immersive experience for the people that attend, because, you know, it's not a scenario where people probably just stand on stage and kind of and tell their stories. It's going to be very practical, hands-on, and you know, it's an awesome place to be in and surrounding. Common Folk are a great little collective of like-minded wedding photographers, basically, that just you know, banded together just to help each other out. And that's where the idea began, and now it's just grown, which is really cool. So yeah, that's happening in mid-September. But they've got an awesome website. Yes. campcommonfolk.com.au, which is awesome. Yeah, the TV series that I've been working on is a brainchild of Van Media, and it's going to be on ABC iView Arts. And it's a cool little conversational, sort of investigational sort of piece. Basically, I go and hang out with other professional photographers and just kind of just learn about what they do in their day-to-day work.
Awesome.
It's called On Assignment with a hashtag at the start, and that'll be out early September. Yeah, and you can check it out in iView. It'd be really cool. But yeah, it was good fun. It was really cool.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me here today. It's been great having a chat, and thanks for being on F-Stop Lounge.
Thanks very much.
See you guys next time.
Cheers.